You are suffering for a reason, and you should accept your suffering as a blessing. Because it's through the darkness, it's through the challenging moments that we get to discover who we are, and we get to live up to that who we want to be. Because every time we don't crumble to the challenges and to the resistance, to the self-doubt, to the insecurities that we are experiencing, we are simply becoming better, becoming more resilient to it, finding a way that we can gain confidence in the skill of perseverance and grow closer to where we want to go. Life is constantly going to test you. It's going to give you challenges. It's going to give you setbacks, but they're not really setbacks. Maybe life wants you to see something and it gives you the impression that you have a setback. For example, you have a job and you work your way up to having a supervision role. But then you suddenly lose that supervision role because of a mistake you have made. Maybe you weren't supposed to be in that position. Maybe there was something that you needed to learn. Maybe you had an ego problem, and that ego problem needed to be attacked. And so you then lost your job because of that problem, and then you spend the next 2 to 3 years figuring out what the fuck happened, trying to pick your life back together because you feel like you've lost momentum in everything. You start indulging in creative endeavors one after the other and none is succeeding, to then suddenly read a book and realize what has happened. But that took you 2 to 3 years to realize. And throughout all those times, you have went through one challenge to the other. But there's a pattern to this. That pattern is that you have not given up. You've persevered. And that is a skill. And that is something that you can be happy about and something that you can be proud of. Because a lot of people crumble. Yet you still had the hope to continue. You still had the hope to do it. Although you didn't know what you were doing. Although you didn't know what the results were going to be, you were still doing them. And subconsciously you had this long-term vision about yourself, and you have this belief about yourself that you are someone and that you will be someone and that you need to work in order to figure something out. And yeah, you've got that correct. And you are on the right path of making yourself that person. And that's the beauty of all these challenges. Because no matter at what level you end up at, whether you're at the bottom, at the middle, or at the top, the only thing that just happens is that your levels, your challenges, move up with you to the level that you are in. And so they will feel either more challenging or more easy depending on what you're going through. The hardest challenge that there is in the area, in the level that you are at, is the challenge that is going to provide you with the most results. It's going to provide you with the most growth. That is the one that has the most leverage. And that is the one that you have to prioritize. So maybe you can use that as a rule of thumb. Sometimes when life is testing you, nothing is going your way. You don't even feel truly happy. You're just constantly in doubt, being insecure, wondering what it's all for. Am I even doing the right things? Am I even spending my time correctly? The only thing that you have to ask yourself in that moment is this one thing challenging me to the point that I'm on the brink of giving up or not? Because if it's not challenging you, then don't do it. If it is challenging you, then keep doing it, because that means that there's something for you to improve in that area. And that is for you to figure out. Maybe you need to be patient. Maybe you need to learn how to think more long term. Maybe you need to know how to talk to people. So you're constantly in social scenarios and you're constantly interacting with people, although you didn't really ask for it, and you literally want to run away from interacting with people. And by doing that, by actively still interacting with people, you build up the skill of talking to people, of handling people their issues, of handling people their criticism. And as a result, that will make you more resilient. That will make you understand humans better. Maybe you even start reading books about it. You start reading how to win friends and influence people. And that helps you to better understand and be of greater meaning when interacting with people. And so you level up. Suffering comes in many ways. Suffering can even come in the relationships that you have. Maybe you have a friendship with someone and that person is trying to get the blood out of your nails. So for example, he's a dishonest person and you don't like being friends with that person. You feel like stepping away, but when you want to step away, you feel guilty, and that person will try to put that feeling of guilt on you, telling you that you are a bad friend for doing that. But now look at it from this perspective. It's very challenging to do that because maybe you didn't have a lot of friends. Maybe you didn't know how to attract people, and maybe you don't know how to set boundaries for yourself. Now that is a great learning lesson for you. In that moment, it is for you to decide what are your values. Maybe that is the thing that you need to address. What are my values? Because usually when you feel something strange going on and you feel like stepping away, sometimes that is a thing that goes against your values and you shouldn't ignore it. You should put time and attention into that and figure out what that value is and what it's trying to tell you. But more often than not, if you're in that situation, you most likely will have to step away. And so the skill for you to do is to step away and to not feel guilty about the decisions that you make. To like somewhat sacrifice that relationship for you to become better. To not feel guilty, to not see it as a selfish act because it's actually a selfless act. Because that will mean that you, for one, will be in a better position and you will be able to allow people to come into your life who are of the quality that you want. And you will not have to deal with another person who wants to live a good life and he doesn't feel good about that life, or he feels guilty about himself. And so in order for him to feel guilty about himself and to run away from his truth, he keeps you as a friend. So you're helping both people. And maybe he will then realize what he has to do and he will then improve. So it all comes down to perspective and how you want to see it. This video was actually inspired by a conversation that I was having with my best friend. We were discussing like the issues within society in the Western world. And the thing is, it's promoted in the Western world to run away from the things that are going on in your life. If you have a challenge, run away from it. You know, when things get uncomfortable, find comfort, do the thing that you want. Like a lot of people don't have like the skill of grit anymore. They don't have, like, people break down whenever something wrong goes on in their life. Like even if their phone breaks, they get like a panic attack because their phone broke. Maybe because of the fact that they have to then sit with their suffering and the only level of enjoyment that they have is their phone or whatever other connection that they have with it. Or like maybe they have some sort of trauma and it triggers their trauma. I don't know. But like even in relationships and marriages, people want to give up their marriage. Whenever things go wrong, whenever things don't go the way that they want it to go, they have like this idea of, I want to run away. I want to start a divorce. I want to find a new girl. I want to cheat on her. Like they're looking for all of these routes of escape, of getting away from the pain that they are in, that they forget to just simply sit in that moment and to see, what can I do? What can I learn from this? And what can I do to make the situation better? And I even experience that myself. Sometimes when things get hard, I want to give up. I want to run away. I don't want to confront myself with the challenge that is happening right now. And that's something that I've had for most of my life, maybe because I've followed down the path of society. I don't know where it comes from, but whenever things get hard, I sometimes just want to run away. Like I don't want to confront it. I want to close my eyes. I want to go to bed and I hope that it never returns again. But what's the point of life if it was going to be so easy? Like religion says that this life is a test and that great rewards lie beyond this life. And so look at it from this perspective. Great rewards lie behind the walls of discomfort. Because this life is uncomfortable. You feel pain. You feel physical, emotional, and spiritual pain. Your heart gets broken. Things don't go the way that you want them to go. You become angry when somebody pisses you off. Somebody can punch you in the face and break your nose. All of these things can happen and you will feel the physical pain of it. And it's a skill to learn how to manage that and to still keep your peace of mind and to work towards becoming that version of yourself who is capable of dealing with that. Like many people want to start a business and they have romanticized due to influences that influences have romanticized the fact of building a business. That most people forget that building a business is brutal as hell. And building a business is actually the greatest way to discover what you are lacking in your life. If you're unable to keep your promise, then you will be unable to keep your promise to your customer. If you are unable to persevere through the moments where you don't want to do the work, then you will not do the work. Then you will not wake up in the morning to sit down at your office and to work on your product, to not work on your marketing, to not be in contact with your team members. You will run away from that because that is who you are as an individual. And you will be confronted with all of these areas of lack. And you will have to be brutally honest with yourself and see, how can I make myself better? And maybe that is why all these successful entrepreneurs, successful businessmen are so intelligent and they have such a high level of patience and they have such a great understanding of life and of themselves, because they had to sit down with themselves and confront them with, what am I bad at and what is holding my business back from reaching the next level? Like that's the next level of humility. Most people cannot do that. They're ego driven, and then they sit down to do the work and they can't do the work, and then they blame somebody else for the fact that they weren't able to do the work, and their life gets nowhere. And they become envious of everybody else, of all the people who have the success that they want. And they simply claim it as, oh, he was lucky. Oh, he had a loan from his parents. Like, what? No, they have skill. And they have to continuously humble themselves to learn more so that they can hone their skills, improve their skills, and become better. Because the only way that somebody grows is by improving that what they're not good at. And if you're not good at something, you let somebody else do that work. But still then, that requires another skill, because that requires a skill of making money, and you will have to pay somebody else to do that. And even in that moment, you will have to build up the skill to be able to translate your ideas so well to that person who you delegate the work to, that they can do the work for you, that they understand the vision. So you also have to build up the vision. And that also requires skill. Everything is a skill, and that skill, most people are not good at that from the beginning. Some people have an advantage. They're born with something that other people are not, and that gives them an advantage in that moment to do that. But that doesn't mean that you cannot work your way up to that, and that doesn't mean that you don't have something that they don't have. And in that way, you can work together and improve the vision, make a new vision, make progress, grow, and become the best versions of both of you. At the end of the day, it's all about growing together as people. And a business is created to solve the pain of others. A business is created to employ people, to give people the opportunity to develop themselves, to go through challenges, and to reach a higher level of themselves. And you don't want to escape this. You really don't want to escape this truth. You don't want to escape the bare fundamental of what is required for you to grow and to become the person that you have to be. And part of that is to accept your suffering. Like, don't fall victim to to what society is promoting you to indulge in comfort, because life is comfortable. Whenever things get hard, just put on a movie. Whenever things get hard, just call your girl and just laugh a little bit. Whenever things get hard, go to a party, go do drugs, go do this, go do everything that is comfortable. But everything that is comfortable never helps you to grow. Never. Never does. That's a harsh truth that you have to accept. And that's a harsh truth that you have to accept with your suffering. If you fail to suffer, if you fail to sit in the trenches, to sit down with yourself, to humble yourself, to kill your ego, to accept like my skill is not at the level where I want it to be, and I have to do all these things, and it will take me 10 years before I will be able to be at a good level that will get me to go to the next level. Do that. You know what you have to do. Do that. Don't run away from it, because every time you run away from it, you are being a disservice to the world. Maybe you have a great skill, a great gift to give, and you're not giving it because you're afraid of the suffering. Imagine how many people you could have helped if you simply got up out of bed this morning and put in the work that you said you were going to put and kept your promise, because you are disappointing a lot of people. And trust me, there is somebody else who is doing that what you are not doing. And he will take that what you have, and then when he becomes successful, you'll be like, fuck, I had the same idea. Fuck that guy. He stole my idea. How could he steal your idea? Impossible. He simply just did that what you didn't do. He went on with the idea that he had. He saw the same problem as you, because you're not as unique as you think you are. You're not that special. Nobody is as special as they think they are. And that's also part of killing your ego. And gotta humble yourself. There's somebody else working on the same thing as you, and he's doing that what you are not doing. And when he takes that what you have, you will feel extremely guilty. You will be unhappy. You will be envious. You will be filled with jealousy. And that is way harder to get out of. So in order to avoid that from happening, you have to do that with everything that you have and work on your vision. Work on your goal. Work on your plans. Get up and do it. To accept your suffering. To accept the pain. And to make the most out of your day. And also, never settle for less than what you can do. When it gets hard, don't be like, what is something else that I can do that is not as challenging as what I'm doing right now? Stop, because at that moment, you are settling for less. Like last week, when I was recording these videos, I literally sat down on my couch over there, and I was wondering, what else could I do that is not as challenging as recording these YouTube videos? Maybe I could do copywriting, because I'm quite good at writing down certain things, like writing down text and everything. And I'm very fluent in that. So why not do that and focus on that? No. I said no. What the fuck, Mark? What are you saying? You are running away from your area of improvement. Recording videos is the most challenging thing for me. Writing down text is not hard. Like literally not. I can write 9 pages of valuable information in only an hour. And like just full sentences, you know? Maybe that's good. Maybe that's not good. For me, that's good. That's amazing. Like it feels effortlessly. It's fluent. But recording these videos requires a lot more skill, a lot more grit. It requires a lot more energy. And it brings up a lot more emotions than just writing down. Writing down is comfortable. Like, writing things down is comfortable. It makes me feel good, makes me feel happy, it makes me feel cute. But when I stand in front of the camera, I feel like I'm getting butchered. The preparation towards it, the recording process of it, it's hard, it's challenging. And so this is what I have to do. And last week I was thinking whether or not to quit. But I'm still here, am I not? I'm still recording this video, am I not? And the next series of videos that I've recorded today, they have been better than the videos, and I feel better than I did before. Because due to being in that challenging moment, I have now created an improved system of recording videos, because I now have a list of affirmations that I read before recording my video. When I feel like I'm in doubt, I read that list and I remind myself of why I gotta do it. And it helps me to do the work that is necessary. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't sat there wondering what to do, still deciding to do it, recognizing that there's a problem within my mindset, recognizing there's a problem within my way of viewing it, and actively looking for that situation, like actively looking for a solution. And ChatGPT gave me that solution. And now I can move forward and wait until take action until the next challenge comes. And then when the next challenge comes, I have to overcome that as well. Life is all about going through your suffering, overcoming that suffering, winning that battle, and then waiting for the next battle to come, preparing yourself for that next battle, and then when it comes, to give it your all again. It's a continuous cycle of battles until you win the war that is in front of you, and the war is life. Life is the war. Success is the war. Becoming your greatest version is your war, and you can never run away from that. I hope this video has been of value. So don't settle for less. Not for a woman, not for a job, not for anything else, not even in your creative endeavor. If you are challenged, follow down the path of challenge and make the most out of it, because that will turn you into becoming the greatest version of who you want to be. I hope you can remember that. And remember that you are 100% responsible for the results in your life. Make the hard decision today, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.